The following is a Learfield presentation of the Washington State Sports Network. This is the Cougar Basketball Hour on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield. Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Tonight's show is also brought to you by Zappos, where the Palouse comes to play and eat. Now, live from Zappos, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
It is Tuesday night, which means we're coming to you live from Zappos for the Cougar Basketball Hour. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We've got a lot to get to, and again, we mentioned it last week. We're now in the full swing of basketball season, at least that conference schedule, which means, hey, every Tuesday night we're going to be here for the Cougar Basketball Hour. It means we got games Thursday and Saturday pretty much every week between now and the end of the season, and with that, that means the Cougs had 2 games last week, 2 games coming up this week. Our guests tonight, we've got the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley, joining us. We've got assistant coach for the staff, George Galanopoulos, stopping by, and also Dane Erikstrup going to be here as well. So a reminder of what's on tap for the team heading out on the road. The Cougs have spent plenty of time, the Cougs overall, you factor in football and basketball, in San Diego between the fall and now into the winter. Back to San Diego it is to take on the Toreros. That's Thursday night. Tip-off at 7. Our coverage will start at 6:30 from the Ginny Craig Pavilion. And then Saturday, back at Beasley, hosting the University of Portland. Tip-off at 3 o'clock, and that'll be the first opponent the Cougs will play twice in the year. The Cougs started off conference play against the University of Portland Pilots, but we're here with the coach of the Cougs, David Riley. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. We had a good practice today, and good to get back in the gym and ready to work.
And then right back to it on the road tomorrow to head down to San Diego. And you look at that schedule coming up. It is, when we talk here on a weekly basis, for the next little bit, it's going to be at least 1 road trip, if not 2 road games coming up. So the team will be logging that miles here in the near future.
Yeah, I think it's great for our guys to be on the road and be together and really build some of that camaraderie that we continue to need throughout the year. And it doesn't hurt to be down in California, get a little sunshine at times too. So we're excited just for the next challenge. And this week's great. You get a road game down at San Diego, and then get home to Portland, and should be a good week.
I did look, so if you're going to have to go on the road and you have to, go a decent amount of ways, it's one of the furthest trips, maybe the furthest mileage-wise in conference play. It's supposed to be 68 degrees tomorrow, so that's not there are worse ways to be greeted when you land than a high of 68. But we take a look back at last week. There was the game against Gonzaga on Saturday, that home matchup on Thursday against Pacific. Let's start with the Pacific game, 95-94, an overtime loss to Pacific. As you look back on that one, what ended up being the difference in that game?
I think it was a really disappointing game, but really the first half. I don't think we had the edge we needed. And, for us, I think it's kind of learning that balance, right? Like we've done really good as the underdog when we have that chip on our shoulder. And, our guys understood that they were probably the favorites walking into that Pacific game. And we gotta find a way to keep that edge and be ready to fight no matter what. Because, you can do the right stuff. You can have a good game plan. You can make your shots and go in the gym and all that. But if you're not ready for that fight every single game or all 40 minutes, you're going to come in and get popped.
And it had a different complexion to it a little bit for Pacific. At the start of the game, they were probably thinking, well, this maybe sets us back. Elias Ralph, one of their top players, ended up only lasting less than a minute in the game, but it sort of changed the complexion where more went on the shoulders of Lamar Washington, and the former Oregon Gatorade Player of the Year. Had a whale of a game. He had 40 points, a career high for him, and a big 3, obviously, at the end that won it. How hard was it? I mean, it might go back as the best game in his college career, but what made him so tough to keep under wraps in that game?
I mean, he's a dynamic player, and he's a rhythm guy. You compare him to someone like at the NBA level, like a James Harden, when he gets rhythm one-on-one, and we let him get rhythm. Like we had some missed coverages early. We gave him some open looks. And once that happens, he's a heck of a player. He got rhythm and kind of busted our butts for 40 minutes there for 40 points. And I think that was a good lesson for our guys. Like, we have to execute better. We have to have that edge going into a game, and then we got to figure out how to break rhythm.
And with it, I mean, Pacific could have won that game in regulation, but the team was able to rally down by 10 in the second half. The one had that putback dunk to tie. Did you feel like going into overtime that the momentum at that point was kind of with the Cougs?
I think so. We were up 5 with a minute 02 to play, and I thought we did what we needed up to that point, and then we just didn't close. We missed. I think we were 2 for 6 from the free throw line. We had some silly fouls. Obviously, they hit that big three, and there's just, one thing after the other that we didn't execute right, and that's what it takes in conference play. If you're not sharp down the stretch, you can go lose those games.
And it will be January 30th, so later this month, the Cougs will have that second game against Pacific. And, maybe at the start of the year, maybe a month ago, that one wasn't circled on the calendar. But now I'm imagining that one that the guys are pretty fired up for a chance to get another crack at them.
Absolutely. And that's what's beautiful about basketball is that you get you probably got another game in 3-4 days, and you get to go play them again in conference play and see what we learn. Like, I think there's a lot that we can do better as coaches and make sure that we're not allowing a guy like Washington to get going like that, and then as players to understand that we got to have the fight ready and we got to have that edge, and we'll see how much we grow when we go play them next time.
Well, the team will be at home at Beasley coming up 3 o'clock on Saturday against Portland. But that game against Pacific was the first home game since the students have been back. How was it? And it was loud in there, I think, at the end of regulation, at points in overtime. What was it like feeling the energy brought by the students?
I think Beasley every game has progressively just got louder and louder. It's been really cool to see the community, the fans kind of rally around this team. I think we've got a lot of guys that people can relate to. We've got a story where we got some injuries and guys have stepped up. And it's just, kind of what basketball and college sports is all about. And I think the community understands that. And it's just been really cool for me in year one in Pullman to see what this community is all about. And just going to hopefully keep winning and not drop any more home games and see how this thing builds.
Well, that takes us to Saturday, and the game on the schedule that probably stands out as maybe the most difficult of the year. Looking at it before the season to this point in the year, going on the road to play a top 25 Gonzaga team. A really strong first half. Gonzaga got some separation in the second half. Ultimately, it was an 88-75 victory for Gonzaga at the Kennel. How was it going back, watching the film and digesting that one, since we haven't talked since after the postgame for that game?
Yeah, it was a whirlwind of a game. I thought we had a good first half of effort and competitiveness. Our guys stuck to the game plan pretty well. We didn't finish the half out necessarily like we wanted to, but I thought we did a good job that first half, and then I think we got a little bit too obsessed with the X's and O's at halftime, and again weren't ready for that edge that you need to go compete against a top 25 team or just a Division I team in general. They got a couple loose balls, they had a couple 50-50 plays and got going, got some rhythm. And so watching the film, it almost hurt a little bit more. Like, man, some really controllable stuff, some stuff that we could have done better. And obviously, if you make mistakes, the top 25 team in the country is going to make you pay for it. They're well coached, they're disciplined, and I think we learned a lot. And I'm excited for the next time we play them.
And one thing to remind folks, if you do not have your tickets yet for when Gonzaga comes to Pullman, they come to Beasley, get your hands on those as soon as possible. I was looking at the seating chart for that today, and Beasley capacity over 11,000. So, I mean, what that will be like for that game, and certainly Gonzaga, it's a excellent atmosphere at the Kennel, but it's a lot smaller. Think about how many people are going to be there for the game on February 19th. But if you don't have your hands on your tickets yet, do that soon, because there's only a limited number of tickets available as the Cougs will host Gonzaga. It will be a Crimson Out. That will be February 19th. That's a Wednesday night. So really looking forward to that one. And we're talking about the atmosphere there. Obviously, the Kennel has quite the reputation, but to my eyes, the team did not seem fazed about what the atmosphere was like at the Kennel. Is that what it seemed like to you?
Yeah, I thought our guys were pretty locked in, and part of that is just kind of the schedule we've played. We played at Iowa and Boise, where there was really, really loud crowds. UW, another one. And so I think we're learning how to play in that environment, how to still be us with all the excess stuff going on outside. And we got to be better. We didn't win the game, so I think there's another level for us to take.
We talked about it on the post-game show, and I know we discussed it a little bit here on the Coaches Show, but I think it's worth highlighting these guys again, because during this stretch where there's only been 8 available players, there are true freshmen, 2 guys, and a redshirt freshman who are playing some really crucial minutes and doing some nice things. If you could maybe give people just an understanding of what has been thrust on and how these guys have thrived, thinking specifically of Tomas Throsserson, Parker Garrett, and Case Wynot, what those 3 guys have been able to do in these very important situations where they've been out on the court.
They're learning a ton, and for them, as individuals, like it's an awesome experience for them to be able to get this time on the floor with a great team and learn all these things through experience. And then I think our upperclassmen have done a good job of supporting them and making sure they're confident, because I'm pretty hard on them. Like I'm if they're going to play and get those minutes, I'm going to treat them like upperclassmen, and they're getting it from me. And so I think our upperclassmen have done a good job helping them out, and it takes some mental toughness for them to be able to do what they're doing. Parker and Case coming off the bench, Thomas thrust into the starting role. It's pretty cool to see how they've stepped up to the challenge.
Parker and Case both coming off of career highs against Gonzaga. Tomas, 17 points not that long ago. So those guys are really answering the call with the opportunity that has come. Well, we are here at Zeppo's for the Cougar Basketball Hour, talking right now with David Riley. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll have more with Coach Riley. And again, joining us a little bit later on, Assistant Coach George Galanopoulos and Dane Erikstrup here as well. That's all after this break. You're listening to the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hey, Coug fans! Can't decide what to do with your late-night weekends? Why not Cosmic Bowling? Every Friday and Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. is Cosmic Bowling at Zeppo's. At a price designed with everyone in mind, we are your destination for music, disco lights, and, of course, bowling. Can't join us on the weekends? Zeppo's is the place to be for all ages every day of the week. With bowling, food, and drink specials, we offer prices that won't break the budget. You can even reserve your lane in advance with online reservations at Zeppos.com. When looking for fun in Pullman, look no further than Zeppo's.
Back after this local timeout on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Buy one, get one for $1 breakfast on favorites like toasty bagel sandwiches, hash browns, and more. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Nothing works up an appetite like cheering for your Cougs on game day. So why not cheer them on at Northern Quest with an impressive roster of restaurants and lounges? You can tackle the menu at Epic and catch every play on the 10 by 30-foot screen. Or grab a steak at Maslow's, a fine cigar at Legends of Fire, even a burger from Fat Burger. You know, for your inner linebacker. See more at northernquest.com. Go Cougs!
This is the U.S. Bank Cougar Coaches Show on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Joe look, wraparound pass, two-handed throw down dunk, make it a 10-0 Cougar run.
Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Once again, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Back at Zeppo's on the Cougar Basketball Hour, here with the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley. And Coach, we're excited tonight. We have your first staff member here, first member of the coaching staff, first assistant who will be joining us on the Cougar Basketball Hour. And that kind of leads me to the question of, how did you put your staff together? Because I know one theme is familiarity. That's a big part of the staff and guys you brought with you from Eastern Washington. But when you got the job, you accepted the job, and you're looking at the task at hand and building this team at Washington State, what were you looking for when you were hiring assistants and the people you wanted to trust to kind of go shoulder to shoulder with you on this journey?
There's a lot that went into that. I think that's a huge decision because these are the guys that are going to be mentoring and kind of shaping your team. They're with the guys more than I am, and I think every day I'm around them. I just feel more and more grateful that we got these guys. And the big thing for me was get good people before looking at the coaches and the X's and O's. Get good people that are going to have good relationships with our players that they can have a real bond with, and then we'll figure out the rest. And I think obviously I got a big portion of my staff from Eastern Washington. I don't know how many people we got our trainer, we got 4 assistants. I brought the GA Clink. Sean's our ops guy. So we got Rye played for me at Eastern. So we got quite a bit. It must be 6 or 7 guys that I brought from Eastern. And then, one thing that I felt like we wanted a different look at or someone from the outside to come in was someone on the defensive side of the ball. I thought that's something that I needed to learn and grow from, and our staff as well. And so we brought George Galanopoulos in, and he's just been fit in with our staff on a personal level, fit in with our team, and now our defense has also improved too, which is a plus.
We'll have to ask George about this, but I mean, he's one of the few outsiders that was kind of brought in. So he's coming to a new spot, and then everyone else knows each other, and they know their coffee order, they know everything, and that he gets to come in. So, but it's been easy bringing him on board with everyone else. Absolutely,
and it's been cool to see. Moving to Pullman, it's a unique place, and you never know how that's going to go for different people. And just great reviews. Everyone seems to really enjoy it and embracing this community. And we got a good thing going here.
Well, that leads me to my first audience question we have for you tonight. As on social media, Daniel Hayes reaching out. What is your favorite thing about Pullman and being a part of the WSU community? Go Cougs!
So Daniel Hayes, I think it must be the same Daniel Hayes. He was a manager for me, or no, he's a manager for Shantae at Eastern, and so he was my guy when I was an assistant coach, and he ended up going to WSU for his last 2 years. So good guy. Favorite thing about the Wazoo community? There's a lot. I mean, if we're just going to go community, my favorite thing to go to is Ferdinand's and getting some ice cream and a coffee. But
that's a good answer there. So, okay, what's the ice cream? Do you get a scoop? Do you get a grabber to go? What do you go with?
I've mixed it up. I went with the tracks, the Cougar tracks?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's just usually my go-to.
Do you get to sprinkle that in on a recruiting trip? Do you make sure Ferdinand's is part of the...
Every recruit has gone there, and I think I like it more than those guys, but it's okay.
That is that's so good. You almost have to be careful about how often that you're going to Ferdinand's there. Well, we've got George coming up, and you kind of touched on George, but we've got Dane Erikstrup who will stop by coming up as well. What do you want folks to know? You talked about George. Anything else you want everyone to know about George that you haven't said? And then also Dane Erikstrup, who we're excited to talk to.
It's two great guys to get to know. I already kind of talked about George, and I'm curious to hear what he says about being the new guy on staff and having to deal with all of us because we're a little bit crazy. I know he thinks our bench atmosphere is a little bit crazier than his G League, what it was like in the G League. So you can ask him about that. As far as Dane, Dane's a what you want in a student athlete, and I think just for you guys to get to know him, he's taken super hard classes. He's taken computer science classes and all these data analytics courses, and someone that I really value in our program because he's making the most of his opportunity at Washington State. He's done a great job this year. A lot of times you'll see with seniors, they'll really just understand the importance of every little detail and every single day. And I think just seeing his jump from last year, where he's always been a mature, good player, gym rat, but to this year, his discipline of getting his extra shots up, of getting in the gym, getting his rehab, taking care of his body, sleeping enough, it's been pretty cool to see. That's why you get into this business, is to see guys develop and grow. And he's having a career year. I mean, he's having a hell of a year, and just good for you guys to get to know him here.
We're excited for that, and we'll ask Dane about it. But I was looking, first year was at the D2 level at Cal Poly Pomona, the last 2 years at Eastern Washington, but every year his point per game average has gone up, and that's pretty impressive overall. You consider making the jump from Eastern to here, and he has been a major impact player, and it's been fun to see him in a Cougar uniform. Coach, we'll let you loose, enjoy some food, and we'll have you back a little later on.
Appreciate it. Go Cougs.
Again, that is David Riley, the head coach of the Cougs, joining us here on the Cougar Basketball Hour. A reminder, Cougar Nation, each time you bring your Toyota vehicle to be serviced at a local and participating Toyota dealership, you can receive a premium Washington State giveaway item as a member of the Toyota Rewards program. To join the program, visit WSUCougars.com/Toyota Rewards. George Galanopoulos, WSU assistant coach, will join us coming up next. That's after this break. You're listening to the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
Spokane International Airport is a proud sponsor of Washington State University Athletics. The airport connects Cougar fans and alums with over 60 daily departures to more than 20 nonstop destinations provided by 7 major airlines, as well as one-stop connections to most major metropolitan centers throughout the U.S. Real-time arrival and flight departure information is available at SpokaneAirports.net. Spokane International Airport, when it's time to fly.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you. Because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the Svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota. Let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
This is Mohamed Gay.
Gay catches foul line high, pump fake, drives in, dunks it down, an exclamation point.
And you're listening to Cougar Basketball. Go Cougs.
Hampton and Pullman is just a short drive from the WSU campus. They've got you covered for all your lodging and dining needs with the addition of their on-site bar and restaurant, Crimson Bar and Bites. You will feel right at home with their spacious rooms, famous Hampton waffles, cozy outdoor patios, Cougar gift shop, and the friendliest staff in town. Visit HamptonByHilton.com to reserve a room for your next trip to the Palouse. Coug owned and Coug managed. It matters where you stay. Hampton and Pullman. Hilton for the stay.
Are you interested in your company reaching Coug fans in and out of game day? As the multimedia rights holder for Washington State Athletics, Washington State Sports Properties helps companies and organizations connect themselves to Cougar Athletics in unique and exciting ways. Whether it's creating brand awareness, driving product sales, or entertaining employees or clients, Washington State Sports Properties has the resources to help your business achieve its marketing goals. Reach out to Washington State Sports Properties to learn more about what sponsoring the Cougs can look like for you.
This is the U.S. Bank Cougar Coaches Show on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Up and under, off the glass, had to get the little spin on it, and he banks it in. 90 points for the Cougs. They're back up by 17.
Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Once again, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Back at Zeppo's on the Cougar Basketball Hour, joined now by George Galanopoulos, assistant coach for the Cougs, and you have the task of being the first assistant coach on the Cougar Basketball Hour this year. So you get to set the standard. George, it's great having you here. How you doing tonight?
No pressure, right?
No pressure at all, exactly.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed getting to know you on the road and whatnot, and it's been an incredible experience. Thank you to everybody here for the support. Obviously, it's been an incredible experience so far in Pullman, so excited.
Well, it is. It's great having you here on the Palouse, and I'm really looking forward to talking about your journey because everyone has a unique basketball journey, but your path has taken you a number of spots, and it's fun that it's brought you here to Pullman. We were just talking during the break. I think you have to tell this story that for the scout, and tell me if I've got anything wrong. For the scout, when the guys are going over the scouting report, they are looking, and there's a secret question that is sprinkled in, and this last scout what was that question?
The question was, how do you spell George's last name?
And we even got Ethan Price coming in here too, getting a nice round of applause. So
there you go.
But Ethan, who got it right? Did they get close?
So it was Rehards Vavers that was asked the question, and he butchered it within 3 letters. So he was not well prepared for the scout, obviously. I don't know if Ethan or Dane is able to spell it if they were prepared for that, but EP gave a thumbs down. Yeah, it's about 50% of the team that probably knows how to spell it.
Dane's giving a thumbs up. So there we go. So you joined the coaching staff. Coach Riley's saying, hey, you're the outside voice that came in. You get connected with Coach Riley. How does that happen? You talk on the phone. He says, hey, come join what we're going to do at WSU. How does it all come together?
Yeah, so I was working for the Portland Trailblazers G League team at the time as the associate head coach, and I woke up to a text one morning from a friend of mine a mutual friend with Coach Riley, and he said, "Hey, David Riley just got hired at WSU. Here's his phone number. They're looking for somebody to run the defense." And I'd love the G League and my experience, in Dallas with the Mavericks and the Blazers, and I never say no to at least a phone call. So I took the phone call, had a really good conversation with him for about 30 minutes. We talked basketball, we talked our experiences, and I don't know, we really hit it off. And I was in Portland, not too far away, about an hour and a half flight. So I came up there, met the staff for the day, saw a practice just before they left for a July 4th camping trip, and I was offered the job at the end of the day. And it took me a few days to think about it, talk it over with my fiance, my family, and just kind of mull over a few things. And it was too good of an opportunity to pass up. And I think the main thing was when I got here, the opportunity to run the defense is great. That sounds nice, but it just felt right. It felt right. The town felt right. The atmosphere, the environment, the staff. We all clicked, and we've clicked from day one. So it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me to this point in my career, which I really appreciate. I appreciate all the people in Pullman. My fiance loves it here in Pullman, so everybody's been really welcoming to her as well. So that always helps when your significant other likes where you're moving to. So, it's been great. So that's how it came together.
Well, and for you, such a great background and unique background in the G League. Can you take us through how you got started in the G League and a lot of experience there that you bring here to WSU? Yeah, so I graduated from Indiana University in 2011, and I started coaching when I was 17, AAU, travel teams, younger kids, 5th, 6th grade teams, 7th and 8th grade, and I knew I wanted to coach from a young age, but my mentor at the time that had given me my first coaching opportunity that was running the AAU program, his best friend was the head coach of a G League team. So he put me in touch with him. I interviewed. I got a basketball operations internship, and then I was in Bakersfield, California for their D League team, working for their D League team for about 3 years. Ended as an assistant coach there. I moved to New Zealand after that. I think for about 5 or 6 months in their pro league, which was an incredible experience, obviously, to see a different part of the world. And then I came back and I got an internship with the Dallas Mavericks. And I went back and forth between the Mavericks and the G League team before I was hired as the head coach my last 4 years there. And then I moved to Portland to work for the Blazers G League team, and here we are. So it just so happened that through connections and relationships that I started in the D League. It wasn't necessarily this choice that I saw the D League. I didn't even know what the D League was at the time. So before you know it, you spend about 8 or 9, 10 years in it. And then you make this seismic shift to college, which is actually looking more like professional sports than a lot of people that have worked in college remember it to be. So it's been great. I'm really excited for what we're building here. You describe it as a seismic shift. What have been the most notable differences, whether they're good, bad, in the middle? I'm curious. Yeah, I think in the G League specifically, there's so much roster turnover and roster fluidity, whether you're getting players assigned to you from the NBA club or, I don't know, you might cut players and trade players. Like your roster is constantly changing. And we've been with the same group for 5 months. I wasn't with the same group for 5 straight days, as far as I remember. In the G League, it just changes so much. And it's something that I really love and appreciate about college, because the relationships that I've been able to build with some of these players and the camaraderie and the chemistry that I've seen and been able to be a part of and been lucky enough to be a part of is greater than anything I've ever experienced in my years in professional basketball, specifically in the G League. So it's something that I'm grateful for. And through the ups, the downs, 4 wins in a row followed by 2 losses, just like that, this is your family. You spend more time with them than anybody else. And it's something like I said, for which I'm extremely grateful, and I'm really excited for this group. George Galanopoulos, assistant coach for the team, our guest here on the Cougar Basketball Hour, getting caught up with him. So you have this great experience in the G League and on the NBA side, but also you have some international experience coaching the Ugandan national team. What has that been like? Yeah, it's been an incredible experience. Not something that I set out to do or thought I was going to do when I decided to get involved in basketball, but through a pretty serendipitous opportunity. I worked for a head coach in the G League with the Mavericks years ago. I think I was 27, 28 at the time, so that was maybe 8 years ago, if you could do the math. But yeah, he was approached about it, and he couldn't do it. And he just called me into his office one day, and he said, "You want to coach the Uganda national team?" And I was like, "That's in Africa, right?" I didn't even know at the time, or I hadn't had much experience. And before I know it, I go out there and I'm in the middle of Senegal coaching in a 105-degree gym and trying to win basketball games. And
You go out there and you do something like that for a resume builder. I think you're a young, kind of somewhat selfish coach just trying to put stuff on your resume and grow and learn. And before you know it, like you're a part of something that's just so much greater than yourself, obviously, and there's so much more purpose involved in it than just winning basketball games. Obviously, you're representing an entire nation of people, 40 million over there. So it's been great. It's been so gratifying and rewarding, not just from a professional standpoint, but a personal standpoint as well. So we've got some qualifying games coming up for the 2025 AfroBasket Championships, top 16 teams in Africa. I won't be able to go because we've got Santa Clara and St. Mary's, so I'm loyal to the Cougs for this season.
We're glad we got all hands on deck and we got you there for Santa Clara and St. Mary's.
Yeah, I'm staying, but hopefully we can win. I think we need to win 2 qualifying games out of the 3. In order to qualify for AfroBasket 2025, which Dave has said he'll let me go out there to coach that team. So, that's what it was, long story short. And I think the great thing about it from a professional standpoint is to be able to go out there without, much manpower or staff or things of that nature. Like, you're thrust into a position at a really young age and just kind of thrown into the deep end. Hopefully you don't drown type of situation, So the experience that I've been able to get that has prepped me for this position is something, like I said, I'm grateful for, and that's all I could do is really just use the experiences that I've had to this point in my career, both professionally and personally, to help this group win basketball games and get to the tournament. So,
well, that is so cool to hear, and for you, as we sit here right now, coming off of those 2 losses, but a great opportunity this week, then there's the next week with Santa Clara and St. Mary's. What has you most excited about this group that you've worked with? You talk about how, hey, everyone's around each other more than their families. But what has you most excited about, there's not only these impressive accomplishments that have happened to this point of the year, but what's in front of this team the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think what I'm excited about is, and it's hard when you're going through it, but to experience the success that we've had to this point, considering the circumstances, the injuries, and if you would have told me with all these injuries and whatnot, and starting, starting 2 freshmen and playing 3 freshmen, all these things, that we would be in this position, you'd be thrilled. But at this point, we're here, and we expect it of ourselves. We expect to go out there and compete to win every single game, if not win every single game. And it's real. We've experienced it, but we've also experienced the humbling aspect of it, which is if you don't do what you're supposed to do, if we don't do our jobs, every single minute that we can or as much as we can, you're going to come on the opposite end, So I'm excited for this group to learn from it, because that's how you grow. You can't win every game. You're just not going to learn and grow from that and become the best you could be. So I'm excited. I love this group. I really do. I think they love each other. And sometimes you just got to go through that. You got to lose a couple to win a couple and to really figure out how you can get to where you want to go. So.
And a great opportunity for the team coming up Thursday at San Diego and then back at home Saturday against Portland. George, it's fantastic having you here tonight. It's so great having you part of the program. Thanks for taking the time to do this. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Again, that is George Galanopoulos, assistant coach for the Cougs, stopping by here on tonight's Cougar Basketball Hour. Well, the Junior Cougs Kids Club is presented by Toyota, is the official kids club of the Washington State Cougars, and it is the best way for the youngest members of Cougar Nation to show off their Cougar pride. Find out more information about your Junior Cougs membership perks at wsucougars.com/JRCougs. A little bit later on, we'll be rejoined by the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley. But coming up next, we've got Dane Erikstrup coming up here at Zeppos. That is all after this timeout. You're listening to the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
You know what I could really go for right now? Literally anything that comes in a McDonald's carton, wrapper, or bag. Or a McDonald's cup. Yes, any of those items should do it.
Or Cougar fans, why not get them all? Order with the app and get a bacon double cheeseburger, 4-piece chicken McNuggets, small fries, and soft drink for only $7. Offer valid exclusively in the McDonald's app. Must opt into rewards at participating restaurants.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Around here, the community is everything. At Adams Tractor, our strength is in machinery, but our passion is in building relationships. For nearly a century, Adams Tractor has been supporting local nonprofits and organizations all across the Northwest, demonstrating our commitment to the regions we serve. We're more than just your go-to Kubota dealer. We're dedicated to making life easier. Adams Tractor, where passion meets Kubota strength.
You're listening to Cougar Basketball. Cougar Basketball. From the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
This Washington State University sports broadcast is brought to you in part by Pullman Regional Hospital, the official hospital of Washington State Athletics. The combined expertise of our university and our award-winning hospital are being deployed to provide greater access to resources, education, employment opportunities, and innovations to improve health care and health outcomes for all of us. Learn more at pullmanregional.org. Pullman Regional Hospital and Washington State, partners in excellence.
This Cougar Moment is sponsored by Brown Family Vineyards. Brown Family honors the legacy of founder Andrew Brown's late grandfather, William Bittner Brown. Every decision made, from farm to glass, reflects their commitment to premium Northwest wine and spirits. Whether you're visiting one of Brown's tasting rooms or opening a bottle in your own home, Andrew and his wife Courtney welcome you to their extended family, where good friends, good food and wine, and good times are always on the agenda. Stop by one of our tasting rooms in Spokane, Walla Walla, Seattle, Bellevue, Tacoma, or Portland, and get 20% off a glass this season when you mention WSU.
This is the U.S. Bank Cougar Coaches Show on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Behind the back dish, throw down, Cougar is done.
What a dunk that brings the fans to their feet here at Beasley.
Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Once again, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Back at Zeppo's on the Cougar Basketball Hour. Washington State, here we are in really kind of the rhythm of the conference schedule. 2 games last week, 2 this week. The Cougs on the road Thursday night taking on San Diego. Back at home, 3 o'clock tip-off Saturday against the University of Portland. And we are joined now by senior for the Washington State basketball team, Dane Erikstrup. Dane, thanks for being here. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, and it's fun to talk to you. It's been, I know, outstanding for all Coug fans to see you in a Cougar uniform and see what you've been able to do in year one. And you're a senior, so what is set to be your last year of eligibility, but we were just kind of joking about during the break. Who knows? Things change.
Yeah.
It's just so we'll maybe keep our fingers crossed something changes there. But year one, you have hit the ground running. How has life been as a Coug?
It's been a lot of fun. It's like I call it a much bigger version of Eastern. I think the coolest part here is like when they sing the national anthem at the end, when they say like in the home, and then they go the Cougs. That's my favorite part.
That's a good one. That is a good one. Well, your basketball journey, so you started out at Division II Cal Poly Pomona. Then you joined up with the staff at Eastern Washington and 3 of your teammates and yourself making your way to WSU. Can you walk us through how it went from high school to Cal Poly to Eastern?
Yeah, I mean, I was a year that got really affected by COVID. And I've always been one, like, I want to play. So I went D2 my first year. I did good there. And then I just hit the portal, and D-Rye and his staff picked me up. And ever since, I've kind of rocked with them. You know, they gave me a vision at the start when I first got to Eastern, and every year I kept building, and they've been nothing but honest with me. So for my last year, I just wanted to follow them and, you know, stick around great guys, Ethan, Lawan, Cedric, all of them. Hell of players, you know. So in the end of the day, I just kind of want to stick with the people I trust and kind of my family.
Well, WSU fans have appreciated seeing you and your teammates in crimson and gray. We discussed this with Coach Riley, but every year at the D1 level, you've improved your scoring, and even, you know, making the jump from Eastern here to WSU, your scoring average has jumped up. What's allowed that trend to be the case?
I think it's just all the hard work, time, and effort I put in the gym. Kind of every year, you know. This is my last year as a senior especially. I kind of just – everything's coming at me so fast. Next year is, you know, it's like George and Jerry say, like, I'm messing with my money if I'm not putting the work in, you know. So I just keep building, and the results are showing off. So, yeah.
Well, we know you like when it's the home of the Cougs at the end of the anthem, but going in, you know, you've played against WSU, right? As an opposing player, has the experience here in Pullman been everything you'd hoped for walking into this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. It'll be cool to see where we end at the end of the season and kind of, you know, how packed Beasley is and kind of see, you know, what happens when Gonzaga comes to town, what happens when we're in the WCC, hopefully championship. You know, that's a goal. So kind of I got my sights set far ahead, and I just got to keep working. So.
Well, it's not only you that is a standout college basketball player in your family. You have twin sisters who both play at Grand Canyon. And for context, Grand Canyon on the women's basketball side, they are rolling. They're 15-2 on the year, 2-0 in conference play. Your sister Laura is their top scorer, averaging 15 points per game. And your sister Sydney has a significant role as well, averaging over 10 minutes per game. Who's the best baller in your family?
Me.
Okay. There we go. Your sisters might have something to say about it. Was it basketball from as long as you can remember for the entire family?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. My dad, he's from Europe. He's from Denmark, so he played handball growing up. He never touched a basketball. My mom, she was tall, but she hated basketball, so she was a downhill junior Olympic ski racer before she blew out her knee. So for some reason, when we were like 5, I don't know, they started us all in basketball, and we all fell in love with it. And, tall parents, tall genes kind of helped too. So, yeah, we all grew up together playing basketball. They never played me one-on-one, so that's on them. If they want to see who's the best, we can play sometime. If they're listening, hi, Laura. Hi, Sydney. Yeah.
Who started the trend? Who picked up basketball first? Because it was either your sisters or you, right, that kind of was like, hey, basketball, let's pursue this.
I don't really know. We all got thrown into this program called Clutch. It's like an AAU team, and we all kind of fell in love with it at the same time. And then they had a really good girls like AAU program, and I kind of had to branch away from that. So I feel like that's kind of where we all fell in love with it, was at Clutch, and yeah.
Well, it has to be fun for your family. How do they pick on who they get to go watch play? Your parents, or whose game? I guess you can have multiple screens, multiple tablets if needed, but your parents have to be pretty busy keeping tabs on everyone.
Yeah, so they live in Chandler, Arizona, which is like 30 minutes away from Grand Canyon. So they go to a lot of the girls' home games and all that. And then they'll always text me. They're like, hey, we're not watching your game. We're staying off social media. We'll text you after we're done. We're at the girls' game right now. So I'll get a text from them around 11, 12 at night, and they'll tell me what they thought. So I think it's kind of cool just how much they love me and how much effort they put into, us kids.
That's awesome. So basically, if they're at your sister's game, we've got the game recorded, we're going back, and we're locked in, and we'll give you kind of our breakdown after.
Yep.
That is great. Again, we're talking with Dane Erikstrup here, senior for the WSU basketball team on the Cougar Basketball Hour. And for you, Coach Riley, I think it was actually our first edition of the Cougar Basketball Hour. We were talking about finals. We were talking about guys being busy. And he mentioned that you had your hands kind of tied with C++. So we know that you are you're getting it done in the classroom, and you got a lot on your plate there. Can you tell us what you're studying?
I'm getting a minor in business and my major in data analytics. So it's a lot of work. It's hard, but, in the end it'll pay off once, 10, 20 years down the line, maybe basketball's done, wherever I might be. It'll look good on my resume. That's all I have to say. I don't know.
So what's the hardest thing you're doing when it comes to what you've accomplished in the classroom? Like, give us an idea of the classes that you're taking and what comes with that.
You guys probably won't. If you know coding, I've done MySQL, R, C, C++, and right now I'm doing Python. So it's just a lot of random programming languages that you have to learn. And it's hard. It's complicated, but it's worth it. So
I'm not sure how you have time in the day. I mean, that is really, really impressive stuff. So basketball-wise, you tell me if I've got this wrong, but hoops, you're going to take it as far as you can go, hopefully play professionally. I know you have experience representing Denmark, right?
Yep.
With the national team. So as far as it goes, but obviously you're going to be well equipped for whenever that day comes, or whenever you decide to change gears and to think about a non-basketball profession. If it is not basketball, with the skill set that you have, what would you want to do?
Get into the data analytics side of the sports world. I love sports. I do like data analytics, but I don't love it. So if I can attach it with the passion I love, I feel like that's something I'd love to do when I'm older. So that's kind of my thinking. If basketball doesn't work out, but it's going to work out, so we're going to make it work.
Well, what are your conversations like with this coaching staff? Because this is a very analytical coaching staff. We know Coach Riley's background when it comes to math, and I know you and probably the two of you guys can talk at a much higher level than most people when it comes to breaking down a lot of this stuff. What is it like, talking with them about how they use numbers, how they use data analytics, and what your interest is?
Yeah, I mean, it all just kind of makes sense to me. Kind of, you talk about field goal percentage, this and that, plus and minus. what plays we score the most out of, how many paint touches we get, our percentages on that, and it's all just kind of like a numbers game. It all makes sense. You want to get the highest percentage shot. So at the end of the day, that's all you're really looking for.
Well, that is neat to hear. And so it's turning the page now on Gonzaga and Pacific. Opportunity coming up against San Diego and then at home against Portland. How's it been? The team hasn't lost back-to-back games this year, which is a great compliment to what the team has accomplished to this point. How has it been learning from those two games and getting ready to have these two matchups coming up this week?
Yeah, and, we learned a lot from the two losses. Obviously, we shouldn't have dropped the Pacific game. We just got to keep our edge, kind of like what D-Ry was talking about earlier. I felt like we didn't have our edge coming into that game, and like the Gonzaga game at halftime, I felt like we weren't ready for their punch. So we've just been in practice, focusing on the details of fundamentals, so we're ready for next time or next game, whatever might come next.
Well, that next opportunity Thursday on the road against San Diego, then looking forward to seeing everyone at Beasley coming up Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock tip against Portland. Dane, it's great having you here. Thanks so much for visiting and taking the time to do this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Again, that is Dane Erikstrup, senior for the WSU basketball team, joining us at Zeppos. We will take a timeout. When we come back, we'll be rejoined by the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley. That's all after this. You're listening to the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
So we've always wanted a Cadillac Escalade.
But they're out of our price range.
So I started a podcast for my side hustle. All the kids are doing it.
Honey, you've got 7 likes.
All right. Hey, I'm still learning how to algorithm.
And that's not a verb.
Oh.
There's an easier way to score an Escalade. It's Northern Quest's $165,000 Cadillac Countdown. Play daily to enter. Grand prize drawing January 25th. Details at northernquest.com.
Hey, this is Craig Elo, and you're listening to Washington State Basketball. Go Cougs!
Get your home turf ready to play with the game-changing performance of Steel. Enjoy big savings this fall on Steel handheld outdoor power equipment. Find yours at over 10,000 local Steel dealers. Steel is a proud supporter of your Washington State Cougars. Real Steel. Find yours.
Get game day ready at Rosars. Rosars is a proud sponsor of WSU Athletics and your headquarters for keeping snacks stocked up for game time. You'll find the largest craft beer selection, local and imported wines, and all the makings for your favorite cocktails. And while you're there, stock up on your favorite deli snacks, pizza, rotisserie chickens, and ribs. Don't just watch the game, experience it with your favorite game time foods. Get game day ready at Rosars.
This is the U.S. Bank Cougar Coaches Show on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
No look, wraparound pass, two-handed throwdown dunk, make it a 10-0 Cougar run.
Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Once again, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Earn your bragging rights at Northern Quest with more slot machines, table games, restaurants, lounges, and luxury hotel rooms than anyone else in the region. Northern Quest, yes, the best. More at northernquest.com. Back here at Zeppos on the Cougar Basketball Hour, rejoined by the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley. So, Coach, the team now going back out on the road, kind of been a stretch where the team has been at home or not traveling that far for a road game against Gonzaga, but San Diego is the next opponent. Heading down to San Diego, they've got a veteran coach in Steve Lavin, first of 2 matchups with the Toreros this year. How has USD looked to you to this point?
They got a talented team. They got some young guards and young players that can really fill it up. And they're going to play a fun style. I think they get out and they play in transition. Defensively, they do some things to mix you up. They force a lot of turnovers. It's going to be a good challenge for us.
That's the game coming up Thursday night, and then the squad will be back at home. It's Portland coming to town, so the team opened conference play with a convincing win over the Pilots back on December 28th. You ready to already be facing a WCC team for the second time this season, this week?
I think it'll be a good test for us. We beat Portland at their place. It's another game where we feel like we should kind of be the favorites, and let's go see how much better we got. We didn't pass the test last week for Pacific when we kind of felt that way, and I think it'll be good for us to come in and still keep that edge and have a standard and make sure we hold that.
For folks who don't know, and we've talked about this before the Portland game, you and Shantae Leggins are obviously very close. You worked together for a number of years. You became the head coach at Eastern when he left to take the Portland job. You excited to have that game kind of behind you so you're not competing against each other until maybe the conference tournament?
Yeah, it makes it weird. We talk, once a week or so, and the weeks leading up to that game, we don't talk quite as much.
Different tone to the conversation, I would think.
Yeah, it's very secretive and weird, but no, I think it'll be good to face the team twice, and I think we're kind of over that weird deal after playing them once, and some of our guys that were coached by Coach O, who's on staff there now, and so I think it'll be a fun game of two teams that want to get up and down.
Look forward to seeing everyone out at Beasley coming up Saturday, 3 o'clock tip-off as the Cougs will be at home hosting Portland. Then the following week, St. Mary's as well. So there's a really good slate of home games that not only on tap this week, but coming up in the near future as well. We'll take another break here from Zeppos. More with Coach Riley after this. You're listening to the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Buy one, get one for $1 breakfast on favorites like toasty bagel sandwiches, hash browns, and more. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
This is Cougar Basketball from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you. Because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
Hey, Coug fans! Can't decide what to do with your late-night weekends? Why not Cosmic Bowling? Every Friday and Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. is Cosmic Bowling at Zeppos. At a price designed with everyone in mind, we are your destination for music, disco lights, and of course, bowling. Can't join us on the weekends? Zeppos is the place to be for all ages every day of the week. With bowling, food, and drink specials, we offer prices that won't break the budget. You can even reserve your lane in advance with online reservations at Zeppos.com. When looking for fun in Pullman, look no further than Zeppos.
Welcome back to the show. Time now to look ahead at this week's game with the Coors Light Opponent Preview. Coors Light. Choose chill. Proud partner of Cougar Athletics. Celebrate responsibly.
Back at Zeppos on the Cougar Basketball Hour. Here once again with the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley. And Coach, it was last Thursday that there was the introductory press conference for Jimmy Rogers, the new football coach here at Washington State. I'm curious if you had a chance to meet him yet.
Yeah, he came by. It was his first day on campus. He came by our office and met our staff. I was out, but I got a chance to go to the football offices and talk to him. And he was overwhelmed. It was his first day. He's trying to hire a whole new staff and get some players in, but just a great guy, down to earth. My wife got a chance to hang out with his wife the other night, and so already fitting in the community and excited to see what he can do.
Did you have any advice for him?
My advice was, same thing I'm telling myself: just keep your head above water. Every day's a new day right now, and he's doing a great job. I think you can tell he's got a really tight staff. He's brought a lot of his staff over from South Dakota State, just like kind of similar to how I did, and a lot of his players are following him. And that's a good sign, I think, where he's got people that want to continue to build with him. And just excited about how he's going to coach the team. I watched some of his stuff down at South Dakota State when they were playing Eastern back in the day, and so he's got a heck of a football background, and I'm sure he'll do great.
There's a lot of similarities there. I would think for you it's maybe a little nicer that the number you're managing of players and hiring staff is a smaller one than him, but is there anything that's compared in your life to the whirlwind after you got hired here at WSU? Is that kind of the craziest stretch you've ever had?
Yeah, I mean I just remember driving back and forth from Spokane, staying on the phone the whole time, not sleeping too much, and just trying to put a team together and a staff together. And I'm sure I watched my uncle coaching when I was growing up, and during fall camp, during the season, I swear he would leave at 6:30 in the morning and not come back till 11 at night. And when you got 100 players and all those staff, football is a heck of a lot harder to coach than basketball. And I'm just grateful we only got 13 scholarships.
Oh my goodness, it's just there's a lot, and just the nature of things where there's the portal, that there's a lot going on for a coach when he just gets hired. Coach, we appreciate the time as always. Thanks for being here. Look forward to chatting with you next before that matchup in San Diego with the Toreros Thursday.
Appreciate it. Go Cougs.
Again, that's the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley. A big thanks to all of our guests, not only David Riley, but Dane Erikstrup and George Galanopoulos. Big thanks here at Zeppos. On the audio side, Jerry Kylo. On the video side, Jared Pringhuber. Thanks back in the studio to Luke Howard in the U.S. Bank Network studios. I'm Chris King signing off. You've been tuned in to the Cougar Basketball Hour live here from Zeppos from Learfield.